The galaxy had known peace for centuries. Civilizations of all kinds had risen and fallen, and the older races looked upon the younger ones with mild curiosity. The Silurians, a species known for their incredible technological advances, were among the most respected. Their ships, their science, their history. It was all a testament to the power they wielded. They had traveled far and wide, conquering worlds, discovering new species, and making allies along the way. They were a proud race. One such discovery came when a team of archaeologists stumbled upon a planet at the edge of known space. It was a quiet, desolate world, its surface dotted with craters and ancient ruins. The Silurians, ever the explorers, were intrigued. They believed the planet held secrets, and they were right. Hidden deep beneath the surface, buried under layers of dirt and rock, was a structure unlike anything they had ever seen before. It was massive, towering, sleek, and made of materials that didn't belong to any civilization they knew of. But it was old, very old. The structure, partially damaged and rusted, was unmistakably a warship. Yet it was unlike any ship the Silurians had ever encountered. Curiosity overcame them, and they began to excavate. They sent drones down into the ruins, cutting through the layers of debris to reach the heart of the structure. As they dug deeper, they uncovered strange symbols that no one could decipher. It was clear the ship was ancient, older than even the Silurians themselves. "This is remarkable," said Duran, the lead archaeologist. "This ship, it's not from any race we know. It could be the key to a civilization far older than ours." His voice echoed in the dark chamber as he examined the control panel, still intact despite the wear of time. But who could have built it? And why did they leave it behind? As the excavation continued, more details emerged. The warship's hull was covered in strange markings, and its engines were unlike anything the Silurians had ever studied. They theorized it had been abandoned for reasons unknown, but they couldn't imagine a ship this powerful simply being left behind. Perhaps it had been a relic of a forgotten race, or maybe the last remnants of a battle long lost to time. Weeks passed, and the Silurians learned everything they could about the ship's design. Yet, there was one thing they couldn't figure out: the ship was dormant. Despite its imposing size and advanced design, it sat there lifeless. Then, one day, everything changed. Duran was sitting at his console, studying more scans of the ship, when a sudden shift in the air startled him. The ground beneath him trembled. At first, it was faint, but soon it became a low hum that vibrated through the walls. His heart raced as he looked up, his eyes widened in disbelief. The warship's lights flickered to life. The Silurians had thought it was just a relic, a long-dead ship, a forgotten piece of history. But the ship's engines roared to life as if it had been waiting for something. The sound echoed through the excavation site, shaking the walls. The control panel blinked, and the strange symbols began to glow. Duran rushed toward the ship's central core, his hands trembling. He knew they had just stumbled upon something far more dangerous than they had ever anticipated. His team gathered around, equally stunned by the sudden activation. "What's happening?" Duran whispered to himself, his voice barely audible. The warship's engines powered up, its massive thrusters coming to life with a deafening roar. The Silurians' first instinct was to retreat, but something held them back. The ship was moving. Slowly, almost as if it was testing its systems, it began to rise from the ground. The ground shook with each powerful thruster's activation, and the ancient warship started to lift off the surface of the planet. The Silurians backed away, watching in awe as the ship rose higher and higher into the sky. It was no relic. It was alive. "How is this possible?" one of the scientists muttered, eyes wide. "It's too advanced for anything we've ever seen." The ship continued to ascend, its engines glowing brighter as it cut through the atmosphere. The Silurians stood in stunned silence as the ship, once dormant, now roared with life. But then they saw it. The ship's exterior began to shift, transforming in ways that seemed impossible. Panels slid open, revealing advanced weaponry that had been concealed for millennia. Massive turrets locked into place, and energy shields flared to life. It wasn't just a warship, it was a weapon of mass destruction. Duran's mind raced. This was no forgotten relic. This was a human warship, an ancient craft from a species long thought extinct. The Silurians had known of humans, the lost race from the ancient histories. but they had been lost to time, their civilization destroyed in a catastrophic war, or so the Xylorians thought. But now the truth was staring them in the face. The ship's sensors activated, scanning the surrounding area with precision. The Xylorians watched, their hearts pounding in their chests. The human warship was alive. It was powerful. More powerful than anything the Xylorians had ever encountered. Joran, one of his colleagues, whispered, eyes wide with fear. What do we do? The answer was clear. There was nothing they could do. The ship was beyond their control. The warship began to move, slowly at first, but then it accelerated into the sky at an unimaginable speed. The Xylorians, who had always prided themselves on their technological superiority, watched in awe as the ship disappeared into the distance. It had reawakened, and with it the legacy of the humans, a race thought long gone, returned. The Xylorians had made a mistake. They thought the ship was just a relic, but they had awakened something much more dangerous, something that would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. The human warship, now roaring with life, was a reminder that no civilization, no matter how advanced, was ever truly gone.